Hey guys, what's going on? This is a video response to Atheism Defended's Atheist demands other atheists subscribe to a Christian channel. Okay, a very poor title. And this video could have been done in about 3 minutes, but he rabbit trails and goes off topic, and so this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to get into a comment exchange with you, because like your videos, your comments rabbit trail, you don't stick to the topic, and you actually do more tap dancing than anyone else that I've ever seen. But let's get into this, and I can show you how much of an idiot you really are and how dishonest you are, because number one, you didn't come across these contradictions on your own. You most likely went to an atheist website and copied and pasted these. And you screwed up in your copy and paste because contradiction 2 and contradiction 3 are exactly the same. There are not 3 so-called contradictions here. There are 2. And why you didn't pick up on that just shows your lack of integrity, or your lack of the ability to pay attention and be focused on a topic. Self-Pwnage for the win. I didn't even have to try. I just had to point it out. So your first so-called contradiction is who incited David? Well, it's really easy to answer. God did, and then in First Chronicles, Satan did. Both is the right answer. As in with Job, it shows that Satan is under the authority of God. And I'm pretty sure, you know what, let's actually go to the scripture and the description. It says, not at all, not a contradiction. God incited David to number the Israel because God was angry with David. And it was because God wanted to teach David not to trust his number of fighting men, but to trust in him. So he moved to let David count the fighting men of Israel. He used Satan to do it, which is why in 1 Chronicles 21 verse 1, it says Satan moved David to count the men. Whenever there is temptation involved, whenever God is angry, he uses Satan. Or in the case of Job, he allows Satan to test. And I think it's pretty clear. We see that, God, right here in Job, God allowed Satan to test Job and demonstrate Job's character. God allows the evil one to work his evil, yet that word is ultimately used for the glory of God. So there's no contradiction here. What you're seeing as a contradiction is basically you cutting and pasting and reading this stuff out of context without really doing any kind of real research on what Bible scholars have to say about it. And this is like what I've told many other atheists. Your so-called predictions will probably boil down to a false interpretation of Scripture. So your next one, which you have listed twice, is the fighting men count. And that one I am familiar with, but let's go to the note here. It says, 500,000 in 2 Samuel, and Joab gave the number of the registration of people to the king, and were in Israel 800,000 valiant men who drew the sword. Of the men of Judah were 500,000 men. Okay. And then here, 470,000 in 1 Chronicles, and Joab gave the number of the census to all the people of David, and all Israel were 1,100,000 men who drew the sword, and Judah was 470,000 men who drew the sword. Now the difference can be explained here. The solution in the difference in counts for Israel seems to be answered in the Hebrew word for valiant, which is sheol, found in 2 Samuel. It means men of valor, army, host, etc. It seems to mean that men numbered in 2 Samuel were those with battle experience, where the men of 1 Chronicles were not. It was probably true that there were an additional 300,000 men ready for battle who had not yet experienced it. Therefore, 2 Samuel 24:9 numbers only the experienced men, where the 1 Chronicles numbers all men of battle age, ready age. So, and the Judah's number difference, the solution seems to be provided in us in the following verse, the 1 Chronicles 21:6, which says, "He did not number Levi and Benjamin among them, for the king's command was abhorrent to Joab." Verse 6 states that the numbering process had not yet been completed since the tribes of Levi and Benjamin had not been numbered. So there you have it. Dude, you say a lot of things. You call me dishonest. You call me a liar. You won't face me in a Google Hangout and do a live debate. And, you're making excuses for it. And that's fine. I don't really care whether or not. I wanted to address you on your overgeneralizations. And now, you see, you're the one tap dancing around my original topic. My original topic was, number one, about your claims about mental illness and religious people, and then your overgeneralizations in regards to morality. And instead of addressing those, you're the one that's tap dancing. So now it's my turn to address you. I've answered your so-called contradictions, and now I want you to explain to me how you're justified in saying that all Christians are a certain way because of your experience of them. Is that fair? Do you really think that you can generalize people so vastly based on your own experiences? Or do you think it's possible that your experience with people is limited, and maybe you should open your eyes and keep an open mind about the differences between people and their ideologies? Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.